Hello, I just thought of filming 7 months baby update. Where do I start? So it's been 7 months with my baby boy, Kari, and it feels so surreal. It feels as if it was only yesterday when he popped out of me. I'm just so happy and blessed that our baby boy is super healthy. My boy is thriving. It gets hard sometimes to keep an eye on him because I also have work to do on the side, but he's a growing, curious boy. He's always interacting with his environment. He's always trying to pull things. He's exploring what he can do. He can sit on his own now, and he can also crawl. Well, not perfectly, but at least umuusad siya. We started giving him solids when he turned 6 months old. So it's been a month na kumakain na siya paunti-unti. Although breast milk pa rin yung main source of food niya, but we supplement it with solids na. So boil the vegetables and then feed him fruits. And so far, ang favorite niya is saging. Kaya nagkaroon na ng nickname ng Ngoy for unggoy. We've been feeding him malunggay, moringa, and squash, and all these vegetables and green leafy vegetables. But he really has preference for bananas, mga sweet fruits. So it's been also a challenge to really let him finish. Well, we don't force him. We don't force feed him naman. But it's been a challenge when it comes to the bitter vegetables. So malunggay, well, hindi naman masyadong mapait ang malunggay, but siguro kasi I feed him pure malunggay, walang halo, kaya siguro napapaitan siya. At yun, yung ampalaya, he's not the biggest fan of it. I could say Kari is really thriving, thank God, praise God. My mom's helping us out, and he's also a lola's boy. So ayan, he's so interactive now. He's smiling a lot. He laughs a lot, and then he wants to really talk with you in his own way, communicate with you. He knows how to communicate his needs. When he wants to be held, he will just put his arms up like that, signaling you to get him because he's already tired. He cries, ganyan, pagod na siya, but he's not really fussy. Sometimes he fusses, but almost all the time we know why he is fussing. He lets us know what he's fussing about, and maybe it comes with getting to know your own child. When all else fails, you know what works when he really cries and then hindi namin siya mapatahan. It's really just letting him take a bath. It's bathing him. He loves the water so much. So he washes twice a day. Well, not only washes, but he really plays with the water. So pag tanghali na, ganyan, kasi medyo mainit, parang hinahanap niya, naging routine na din kasi niya. So he lets you know na he wants to take a bath na because he fusses, and syempre pawis-pawis na. So alam mo na naghahanap na siya ng refreshment. So we bathe him usually noon time, yun yung unang bath niya sa araw, and then before he sleeps we also bathe him and let him play a bit sa tubig. So dati maliit pa siya, kasya pa siya sa tub, pero ngayon meron pa rin naman siyang bathtub, doon pa rin naman namin siya nililigo, but then he's too big for it now na he's outgrown it. But then pwede pa naman kasi siyang umupo, ganon. So dati kasi pinapahiga namin siya maligo sa tub, but now paupo na, and sometimes tumatayo na nga siya. So ang hirap ng mawala sa paningin mo, dapat tinitingnan mo lagi. Tapos sometimes ngayon may bago siyang trick, parang naiangat na nga kasi niya yung sarili niya. So he tries to come out of the tub At saka malakas na bata. I'm so happy about it. And he really wants rough play. Na-imagine ko nga when he grows up, siguro si Chris, very brusco talaga. He's that kind of guy. And if you connect with me on my social media accounts, you'll see my posts that he's always nakausog sa Ilocano. Walang top because he takes it off. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because he feels freer na walang top. So talagang hinihila-hila niya, parang signaling us to take it off. Maybe he got it from his tatay. So yun, so I'm really excited about how my boy is growing. I mean, it's been tiring, but not in a way na parang drained, ganun. It's tiring physically, but it's very rewarding. I'm sure moms can relate, parents can relate. Although, pagod ka because someone needs you, this little human always needs you, but then it's very rewarding when you see the little human being thrive and explore and develop more as the days go by. And that has been my experience with my baby boy. There are times that I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not able to finish much of my work. But when I look at my boy, and he's growing so much, he's growing healthily and happily, and I'm reminded na yun ang unang work ko. It's to raise this boy that God has given me. So, my postpartum experience, although the first 3 months were extremely hard, mentally, emotionally, and physically, because I'm adjusting to motherhood and everything. I'm still recovering from giving birth. But after those 3 months, I feel that I was able to find my sweet spot because I was adjusted na, my baby's adjusted as well, and my husband as well. So after the 3 months postpartum, I could say that we were slowly getting to our sweet spot. What I mean is the sweet spot of finding balance, our equilibrium, our balance as a family, kung paano ba namin iti-take care si baby, at the same time magawa pa rin yung mga work sa bahay, magawa pa rin yung work namin sa professionally, as well as yung ministry. So after the 3 months, well, now he's 7 months na, so those were really sweet moments for us. Well, hindi naman problem free or challenge free, but we were better adjusted na, and we were really beginning to enjoy parenthood, because the first 3 months, syempre nabibigla ka pa, nangangapa ka pa. Tapos ako din personally, ang dami din akong challenges kasi nga yung panganganak itself was very draining, and then it started pa kasi from pregnancy, yung pagod sa katawan. So when I gave birth, the first 3 months were really hard. I've gone through mastitis twice. So mastitis is where your breast gets engorged. So this is very common with breastfeeding moms. So I'm exclusively breastfeeding my baby. So it has been hard during the first month because I've gone through mastitis on both breasts. So I almost wanted to give up breastfeeding, but then thank God I didn't, and it paid off now to see how my baby's very, very healthy and strong. So nung time na yun, first month, yun yung struggle ko. I was struggling with breastfeeding, and the mastitis itself was very difficult because you get chills. Kasi pag nagka-infection ka, di ba? Ganun yung response ng body mo, but you're going through that physically, and you have health issues, but at the same time you have to take care of a baby. So although I wanted to rest at that time, I couldn't because I have a baby to take care of. So the first 3 months were really hard, especially the first month, I would say. But the second month, iba naman yung challenge. The second month, I got healed from the infection. Thank God. Breastfeeding was slowly getting better, Although, mas mahirap pa rin kasi I still got blisters from the breastfeeding. When we threw away, well, not literally threw away, but we didn't use bottles anymore. I stopped pumping because my goal was to exclusively breastfeed my baby. So, we took away the pump. I mean, we put away the pump, we put away the bottles. So, from that point, mga 1 month si baby, or yeah, 1 month and a half, he was extremely clingy to me because I was breastfeeding him, direct latching him. So, siguro dahil mas nasasanay na siya sa akin, he didn't want to be away from me, and that was a different challenge in itself because there were times na I couldn't go to the bathroom because alis na ako saglit, iiyak siya. I couldn't properly take a bath because I'm always thinking of my baby, and even when I'm in the bathroom na, naririnig ko pa siyang umiiyak. Yeah, moms can relate, right? Kahit na tahimik naman, pero parang lagi mo naririnig umiiyak yung baby mo. So, yun yung challenge ko for the second month, and it was just taking a toll on my physical health and emotional health na rin kasi gusto kong magpahinga, but then that's part of motherhood na this baby is fully dependent on you, especially if you're exclusively breastfeeding the baby because yung nutrition niya, yung milk niya comes from you, so he really needs you all the time, not only for feeding but also for the comfort. And my baby is very clingy. I think he got it from me, my side of the family. Well, we're all clingy. My mom is clingy. My brother Din is clingy, boy version clingy. So I know where it came from. That's why I couldn't really. I'm not complaining. I didn't complain. Well, I'm not complaining about my baby's clinginess, but I was complaining about my exhaustion. Gusto ko lang namang magbanyo, mga ganyan, pero hindi ako makaalis because my baby's crying. And then the third month, that continued. Gusto ko magpahinga, but I couldn't really rest fully. Hindi lang kasi physically. It's more on the mental part din ng pagiging ina na you're just always thinking about your baby. So even when you're sleeping, you couldn't really sleep because you want to check him all the time. Humihinga pa ba yung baby ko? Is he okay? Kinakagat ba ng lamok? Ganon. And at those months, my mama bear instinct was just too strong, too turned on. So, yeah, I couldn't really rest. Even my mind couldn't rest because I'm just thinking of my baby all the time. But afterwards, nakita ko na, he's okay naman. He's healthy, thank God. And medyo mas nakapag-relax na ako from that point forward, yung 3 months kasi I was becoming more confident on how my baby was developing. So, hindi na ako masyado ganun ka stressed, takot, because I'm able to see how his immune system's developing. He had no allergies at all, thank God. But yung first months nga kasi, I'm just getting to know Kari. So, takot ako sa madaming bagay kasi hindi ko pa alam kung meron siyang allergies, yung mga ganong bagay. But after that 3 months, mas nakilala ko na si Kari. Si Kari pala is really a brusco baby. So, hindi siya maselan. Thank God, because maybe ganun din, because he's breastfeeding, so he has no allergic reaction to that because that's my milk. So, I think yun ang major factor kung bakit he's not allergic to anything at this point. So, nung nakita ko na my baby's like that pala, so I had more peace of mind na, become more relaxed. Well, not pabaya na relaxed, but I just have that peace of mind. And then we had a vacation when I think he was 4 months old, turning 5 months, when he rode his first airplane flight. Well, 2 flights kasi. And that was a very memorable experience for us, although it was also stressful for Kari kasi nga. So, he was only 4 months old and he was crying nung nasa airplane. 2 flights pa yon. Thank God, yung sa flights naman namin, yun lang yung challenge, kumbaga, kasi it was relatively easy yung travel experience namin and hassle-free. Thank you Cebu Pacific for making it easier for us, parents like us who were traveling with babies. And ayun, it was a whole day of traveling, but even when we got to our house sa Mindanao na to, he was still energetic. He was smiling and laughing when he saw my mom and yung grandparents ko. He was still actively interacting with them even after that whole day of traveling. He's also had his beach experience na he super loved the beach. He's really a water baby. I could imagine na how he will love it so much because how he loved his his bath time. So times 2 or times 3 nung pumunta kami sa dagat. He really loved the water. He was smiling a lot, laughing. And then he was making this parang swimming moves. He was super cute. So ngayon, at 7 months old, puyat pa rin si Nanay. Puyat pa rin ako because I still breastfeed him. So he kind of sleeps through the night. Hindi ko alam kung sleeping through the night ba yan. But he wakes up during feeding times. Kasi si Kari has always been like that. Ginigising niya talaga ang gutom niya. Parang wala pa akong memory na natulog siya ng 7 p.m. tapos dumilat na lang ng pagka 5 p.m. Ay, 5 a.m. 5 p.m. Napakatagal. 5 a.m. And he's not that kind of baby. He really wakes up pag gutom siya and he lets you know. So, right now, breastfeeding has been easier because I kind of know how it works na. I think I say breastfeeding is also a skill. Although it's the natural design for us mommies and babies, it's still a skill that has to be learned. Sometimes it doesn't come naturally to a mother. As per my experience, it didn't come natural to me. I really had to learn it. I really had to research about positioning, and also I also had to connect with my baby para mas being comfortable siya sa akin. So there's that element to breastfeeding. Siguro for non-breastfeeding mothers or for non-mothers, baka mukha siyang easy kasi ano bang gagawin mo? Sasalpak mo lang naman si baby. No, it really is a skill because you have to know the position, you have to know the cues of your baby. Ang mini niya, is he comfortable? Are you comfortable? Yung mga ganong bagay. And it's really hard the first time, but I encourage moms, pregnant mamas who are expecting their babies to come out soon, please consider breastfeeding. Not only does it gives your baby nutrition, but also protection because they get the antibodies from you. Also, the connection that you have with your baby will be strengthened because of breastfeeding. It's a wonderful time to bond with your baby, and it's something that only you could give to your baby. So please do consider, and it has been really a great blessing for me and my baby. I feel that I'm healthier because of breastfeeding. Kasi nga naiwasan yung engorgement, yung premature weaning from premature weaning rather. So please do think about breastfeeding your baby. Consider the good effects, the benefits that you and your baby will get from it. Although it will not be easy, of course there will be sacrifices because firstly, yung time, you really have to be present with your baby to be able to breastfeed your baby. But from mothers who are experienced that I have heard them say this multiple times already. It's worth the sacrifice. Pag makita mo yung baby mo is really growing strong and healthy because of breast milk, it's really worth the sacrifice. That's why I intentionally chose to be a full-time mom. Well, not just we're all full-time moms, but to be a work-from-home mom because primarily of breastfeeding. I want to breastfeed my baby and I don't want to be away from my baby, so I'm only taking offers or work where I could work remotely at home so that I could breastfeed my baby and I don't have to leave my baby with someone else while I'm away. So thank God I still have, work. I'm working from home. So that's been a really great blessing. So yeah, I've been talking so much about breastfeeding because it's really a lifesaver, I could say. Um, it didn't only give my baby nutrition, but at the same time, it also is good for me as a mom. Well, when I was still pregnant, I was really trying to eat healthily, mainly vegetables, fruits, and then fish and eggs. But hindi ko talaga na-give up yung bread. Karang bread eater kasi kami. But thank God, hindi naman sobrang lumaki si Kari that I had to deliver him through CS. Normal naman, sa awa ng Diyos. Kasi hindi naman siya ganun kalaki. He was, I think, 2.7 or 2.8 kilograms when he was born. I was trying to eat healthily, and I want to continue with that. Although ako, madami akong temptations when it comes to carbs. Carbs talaga is, yun talaga ang weakness ko. But I'm trying to be mindful more now. So I want to be an example to my baby when it comes to eating healthily. His father din, si Tata, is also doing his best to eat better. We want him to enjoy natural food as much as possible. We want him to enjoy vegetables, his fruits, and we want to delay all processed food as long as we can. Kaya sana yung mga mga fellow matatanda adults could understand that it's not just about eating na okay lang yan, bata pa naman. We want him to develop and train him good eating habits, healthy eating habits, that he would have preference for natural food, whole food, vegetables and fruits more than the processed ones. Because when I was pregnant, I was really trying my best to do that, and I want him to continue what we started nung nasa belly pa siya. It's more about developing a lifestyle. We want him to start off with this a healthy eating lifestyle, because we started it when he was still in my womb. We started it since he was conceived. So we want him to continue with that. Hindi naman talaga 100% magagawa yun na hindi siya kakain ng processed food, because aminin natin talagang hindi mo maiwasan sometimes, right? But we want to delay it as long as we can, na makatikim siya ng kahit ng processed food. That's why he's eating natural and whole food, hindi baby formula food or milk, because of that desire as a family na mas i-prefer ni Kari yung natural na pagkain, and it would do him good for the long term. So huwag po sana kayong magagalit kung sasabihin ko na huwag niyo po munang patikimin ng candy or chocolate or kahit anong processed food, because we are laying the foundation for our baby's health, not only for this time but for the long term na din. When he gets older, may realize niya, ay God, kaya pala ganun yung training ni tatay at nanay, kasi it's also for my own good. So siguro ganun, pag parent ka na is you want really the best for your baby. Hindi ko hinusgahan yung mga parents na who choose differently from us, because we all parent differently. These different ways should be equally respected. But for me, I also want that respect for the choices that we're making for our baby, because this is what we know is best for him. That natural is best for my baby. Lalo na kung kaya naman, kung doable naman. Kung kaya ko mag-breastfeed, doable naman, di yun ang gawin ko. Kung kaya namang puro gulay at prutas lang ang kainin ng anak ko, natural food, doable naman pala. So, yun na lang ang gawin. Ganon. Usually, he sleeps around 7 p.m. but it could vary around from 5 to 7 p.m. But every day, he still wakes up around 5 a.m. 5 a.m. being the earliest, and then past 5 being the latest. And sometimes when he sleeps na for 7 hours, he wakes up he wakes up in the middle of the night just to play. Kasi nga magkatabi kami, we co-sleep in the playpen na merong mats and then foam. Manipis na foam. Ayun, pag nagising siya, nilalaro niya din ako. Hinihila-hila niya yung buhok ko. Medyo parang ano ata major cause ng hair fall ko yung paglalaro ni Kari sa hair. Tapos ayan, hinihila yung ilong ko, yung mukha ko. Hinahayaan ko lang siya kasi gusto ko matulog anak, ganun. So, nakakatawa kasi nakakatayo na siya on his own by holding onto the net of his playpen. So, naiangat niya yung sarili niya. Sometimes, talaga hinahawakan pa niya yung top part ng pen, yung pole. Tapos, ginaganyan yung sarili niya. So, yun ang maganda din because we chose to have a playpen. He could explore more. He could develop his motor skills more without us, worrying about him falling. So maganda if able naman kayo to invest in a playpen. I think that would really do good for your baby's motor development because he could explore freely. Yun nga, kasi hindi ka na matatakot na mahulog siya or maumpog siya sa semento, yung mga ganong concerns. And yun nga maganda ngayon sa generation din natin, mga mommies, kasi we have access na to more affordable baby stuff, baby things, mga ganito. Noon naman wala naman, di ba? But now we have these things and they're more affordable now. I think yung sa amin is around 1,000 something lang or 1,400 ganun sa Shopee. Pasali na yung Manila to Mindanao shipping. So the playpen has been very helpful with his motor skills development. And also, syempre na-entertain siya kasi kahit na nakaupo lang kami, chika-chika lang kami, at least siya na-entertain siya sa mga ginagawa niya kung ano-ano, magtatumbling siya dyan, mag-roll. Ganon. And I let him explore. I don't want to, I'm teaching myself not to be overprotective kasi sometimes our overprotectiveness could hinder our baby's potentials, especially my baby is such a strong, active baby. He really wants, to try new things for himself. Gusto niyang china-challenge yung mga limitations niya. Ganun. So, now I'm slowly embracing the cool mama. Wow, cool, pa-cool. Well, hindi naman sobrang cool na pabaya again. I'm always looking out for him. Kung hindi, si Mama Lai. Thank you, Mama Lai. But we try to let him discover his abilities. So, hindi namin siya ini-stop when he wants to climb the net of his pen. Pag gusto niya mag-roll dyan, o kaya patayo-tayo, paupo-upo, kung ano bang mga stunts ang ginagawa niya, nakaantabay lang kami. Those little things, gives him autonomy, gives him, ewan ko kung may ganun na siyang concept, but somehow confidence in what he can do for himself. And that's very important for me because, Kari is a boy, and according to Tatay, boys will always want rough play, and I don't want to withhold my baby from that rough play because he's a boy. He wants to be, the hero of his own story. Siguro makakarelate yung mga boy mamas dyan. Kasi, iba talagang energy ng boys. Well, I've never had a baby before, or never had a daughter, but from observation sa mga pinsan ko, babies noon, iba talaga. According din kay mama, iba din talaga ang energy ng boys and girls. Kahit si Kari, nung nasa womb ko pa lang siya, tapos I would send videos of him kicking inside my womb. Send ko kay mama, sabi niya, boy yan. Kasi sobrang likot, parang alon, parang uod, ganun. And true enough, boy. Well, I always wanted to have a baby girl because I've never had a sister. I was hoping I would have a baby sister noong mabata pa ako, but I'm still glad na meron kong brothers. I have 2 brothers, so I was hoping that my first baby would be a baby girl. But then, God gave me a boy, and I'm thankful that he did, because it's a very special relationship as well. I'm so excited, more than for myself, I'm more excited for my husband, because I know that they will have a very special bond as father and child, especially na my husband is very hands-on din siya. Nung nag-recover pa lang ako from giving birth, siya talaga nag-aalaga kay baby, and actually siya ang unang kumarga kay baby, kasi nga ako tinatahi pa, so naiwan. Nauna si baby, nakita ni tatay, and then sa pagpapalit ng diaper, unang pagpapalit ng damit, si tatay, lahat yun, pati pagpapaligo, si tatay. So I'm so excited for him, for my husband and my baby to bond as Kari grows older, kasi I know that David will be very hands-on. He will be there every step of the way, and it will be a very special relationship between them as father and baby. At ang dami ng 7 months pa lang si Kari, pero si tatay is really visualizing na kung paano niya i-discipline si Kari, paano niya papalalim daw yung relationship nila, yung mga ganong bagay. So I'm more than for myself, I'm more excited for my husband to experience fatherhood with a son. Ultimately, motherhood is a calling from God. I take it as a calling. That's why I chose to stay at home. No, where it's different for all of us, but for me, that's my conviction, na iilan lang ang nagkakaroon ng ganitong opportunity na pagkatiwalaan ng life, ng buhay ng Panginoon. So I really take it as a calling, a privilege, as my full-time job to be a mom, to be a mother to my boy. So I know na it's only been 7 months of him being around. It's only been 7 months na pinanganak ko siya, and then 9 months in my belly. So 9 plus 7 equals 1 year and 4 months of motherhood. But I am very happy with the experience that I've gone through, from pregnancy through now taking care of Kari. I could say na it's really a beautiful thing to be a mother. I know na hindi pa ito yon. I will experience more challenges maybe, and more joys and more wins with my baby, but as early as now, I can see how my life has really turned around, how my life has been more beautiful, because God gave us a baby, a child. And sabi nga sa Bible, di ba, na ang children are our heritage. It's a reward from the Lord. The fruit of your womb is your reward. And I really experienced that. But sometimes, yung first 3 months na, sinasabi ko na, it was so difficult. And then, my husband would remind me to balance life. Na alagaan mo din yung sarili mo. Take care of yourself. Kasi, kailangan mong i-balance yun para ma-enjoy mo yung motherhood, yung pag-aalaga sa anak mo. Sabi niya, Kari pa naman ang pangalan niya. Kari kasi in Ilocano means promise. So, I'm learning to find that balance nga of taking care of my boy, but at the same time taking care of myself, para hindi ako sobrang burdened. Ayan. Para hindi maging negative yung motherhood experience ko. So, maybe that could be a tip for you if you're a mom na full-time talaga, na baby lang yung iniisip. Let's have that sweet spot of balance, diba? Para nga ma-enjoy natin yung motherhood. So I'm thankful because of my husband, who's very supportive and hands-on, who also gives me that opportunity to also take care of myself. So now I can dress up na. Well, no, first 3 months, no. Hirap pa maligo. But no, that's all part of the thrill. It's part of the experience. So, yeah, about balance, because I'm learning how to balance now, taking care of my baby and myself, work life. I'm experiencing the bliss of parenthood. Well, it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect anyway, but it's doable. It's happy. It's beautiful. And I knew that parenthood would change my relationship with my husband. But I didn't know na it would bond us stronger. Kasi noon inisip ko, pag may baby. Kasi nga, 2 months pa lang kami married, you already conceived. So, wala pa ako sa headspace noon of readiness. Sabi ko, 2 months pa lang tayong married. Akala ko, tayo muna, mga ganyan. So, meron akong fear noon na pag lumabas na si baby, there would be this distance and gap between my husband and I in a relationship. Kasi nga, feeling ko na fast forward yung married life namin. But it really surprised me because when the baby came, I thought na mas magkakaroon ng, I thought na magkakaroon na ng gap kami sa relasyon namin mag-asawa kasi nga we wouldn't have, the time that we used to have before the baby came. So, akala ko kasi malilessen na yung dates, mga ganon. Akala ko baka mas lumayo, hindi naman malayo yung loob namin. We're very close, thank God. Pero, akala ko, dahil sa baby, magkakaroon kami ng distance emotionally. But, I was really surprised. I think when the baby came, it just strengthened our partnership, our bond as husband and wife. Because siguro yun nga, yung attachment namin sa isa't isa has grown closer kasi we have a boy na, we have a baby na who takes after him, who takes after me. This is our baby, this is ours, and we really are a growing family. Parang ganon. Just having the baby around, parang emotionally mas naging attached kami with each other, my husband and I. Kasi nga, we are parents to the same boy. Mas yung identity namin as a family, parang mas na-solidify, parang ganon. So, I didn't expect that. Kasi iba nga yung assumption ko before the baby came. But when the baby came, I've grown to respect my husband more because of the sacrifices that he does for our family, and yung admiration is talaga mas lumalim kasi nga kung paano siya mag-alaga sa anak ko, sa anak namin, sa akin. And I feel the same way naman from him. He always tells me how he admires me because of prioritizing my baby, our baby, yung mga ganon na I didn't know would exist. Kasi parang negative kasi agad yung assumption ko noon na. Pero mali. I was really proven wrong. Na it doesn't mean that you have children early on in your marriage na lalayo na kayo sa isa't isa, or the baby would be a hindrance for your relationship as husband and wife to flourish. But for our case, it just solidified our marriage. So, Carrie is really a blessing every day, and every day, every moment, I really get to experience that he is really a promise to our family, to our household, to David and I. And prayer ko lang lagi is that we could be trustworthy stewards of this life, because again, parenthood is really a privilege. Life is really at the hands of God. It's dependent on the grace and mercy of God, and He has chosen to entrust us this life. So, as much as we can, as much as possible, really want to influence Him in godliness, to influence Him and raise Him so that He could walk in the purpose and calling of God in His life. I know as parents, it could be a temptation na maging entitled tayo na anak ko naman to, dapat sumunod ka sa akin, dapat ganito ang gawin mo, ganito, ganyan yan. But then to realize na this is God's child entrusted to David and I. So we have to be responsible enough to ensure that Carrie will walk out the purposes of God in his life. Not our purposes, but God's purpose. So yun yung laging hinimay ko sa sarili ko. I don't want to trust my own plans for my baby. Of course, I could only do so much. The point is, I could only do so much because at the end of the day, this is God's child. This is His child entrusted to us. So whatever God's purpose and calling for His life, we should be the first people to believe in it, to support Him. So yun ang lagi kong yun sa sarili ko, that this is God's child. So Although I could dream for my baby, na sana si baby ganito paglaki niya, cha. But it's always the best thing to do to seek the will of God. So, kung sasabihin ng Panginoon kay Kari, ito ang gusto kong gawin mo sa buhay mo, ito ang gusto kong lakaran mo, without a question, I would support that. It's the same thing with my husband. I could also dream for him na sana ito ang gawin ni David, ni sweetheart, ganyan. But at the end of the day, what God's will for is yun ang masusunod and yun ang susuportahan ko because I am his wife, I am my husband's keeper, and yun ang una kong responsibility to God and to my husband, to support the purpose of God in his life. At ganun sa family life, simply supporting each other so that we could become the people that God created and designed us to be. So yun lang. I think because of that headspace that I'm in right now, mas na-enjoy ko yung motherhood because I don't feel it as a burden, although I feel it as a responsibility, but more than a responsibility, I feel that it's a privilege, and I'm thankful that God chose me to be a mother.